Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us in this live session. I'm Alejandro Kikuchi from Workana, sitting in our office in KL, in Kuala Lumpur right now. Most of the team is working from home, however. So the COVID-19 pandemic is bringing about unprecedented changes worldwide. We all know this, of course, but now more than ever, is crucial for businesses to recalibrate and aim for maximum efficiency. A digital strategy is no longer nice to have, but rather a matter of survival. In that regard, Workana, we are working closely with many companies, helping them reliably hire and work with on-demand talent. It's a great way to keep moving forward efficiently. As part of our endeavors to support companies in this journey, we are hosting these sessions in which industry leaders share their insights and plans on the best ways to tackle this new normal we are experiencing. So far, we've had great conversations with a rich variety of businesses. For example, fast-moving consumer goods, companies such as Reckitt Benckiser and Sunquick, also tech startups, for example, Curlec, offering software as a service. We also spoke with Lalamove, operating in the logistics and gig economy space. We spoke with Petronas, the huge oil and gas corporation. And now we have the opportunity to talk to Fave, a company in a unique position to accelerate the offline world's transition to the digital economy. So today our guest is Audra, Head of Strategic Initiatives for Fave. Let me add her to the broadcast.
Hi,
Hey,
everyone.
Audra.
Hey,
Hi.
how's it going?
Doing fine, thank you. How about you?
Very good, thanks.
Well, thank you so much for joining from Lithuania.
Yes.
You are all the way in Europe. That's so great. So yeah. Thank you for joining. Could you please start off by sharing a little bit about the company, about Fave, and your role there?
Sure. Well, Fave. Fave, we are a fintech platform and provide seamless QR payment solutions and loyalty solutions to offline merchants. So that's your all restaurants, cafes, spas, and any retailers. And merchant loyalty cashback that actually is so great for consumers like us. Whenever we go to any of the places, use QR payment with Fave and get incentives to come back again. So it's a win-win for both consumers and merchants, being able to digitize the business and attract new customers. And actually right now in this especially pandemic, it's super important for businesses to go digital. And that's what has been keeping us awake, ever since we started, and especially during this pandemic period of time. And myself, I'm been with the organization from day one as an early founding team member, and I've been through different stages of the growth of organization, from being 10 employees to currently we are over 300, 350 in 3 countries.
Wow.
And definitely exciting, interesting journey to get there. And as person myself, I've been wearing multiple hats to build this company forward. From setting up team, culture, processes for people, to product management, to project optimization, budget optimization, B2B marketing, and PR is one of the portfolios, or launching new products in the market. So you name it. So wearing multiple hats all the time, and that's what I enjoy the most. And happy to be here speaking with you, Alejandro, and see how we can, share more. What have we been up to lately?
Yeah, thank you. Definitely, that's one of the goals, and I think you're in a great position because, as you mentioned, having worn multiple hats give you like a really complete overview of the business and how a business can evolve from, in your words, from 10 people to over 300. That must have been exciting and keep on being exciting, right?
And challenging.
And challenging for sure, for sure. The kind of things at work and you can pull off when you're 10 or 15 definitely different when there's a
Yeah.
couple hundred. So, and about that, so the pandemic hit us. We are in August now. Many countries started going into lockdown and whatnot by mid-March. Malaysia, one of them, of course. So that's 5 months ago. So this very weird time caught you more when you were over 300 people instead of being just 15, right? So can you share a bit about how you reacted back a few months ago when all this started? You already being a big or company, or bigger at least than at first.
Yeah, sure. Definitely, like none of us probably would imagine that it would take this long or this much of adjustment. It took us honestly by by surprise in a way. Um, so personally, my small team, group of 6 people, we actually started working from home a bit earlier than the entire organization, because I'm always proponent of more flexibility and what's the best for people. And if I start seeing that people are a little bit um, feel less safe, commuting with public transport, that's where we say, guys, let's start just, taking our flexibility and working from home. A bit earlier than entire company, we moved into that. And also in different countries, we moved in different stages. So, Singapore had different situation in the early days and later versus Indonesia and Malaysia. So we took it step by step across, but definitely it was one of the first times when entire organization works remotely, even though we did practice rather flexible working arrangements before. And some employees would be working maybe once a week or a couple of days a month from home. But this is completely different ballgame when entire organization moves. And very quickly we realized that our customer support and partner support, we're still operating or providing service over the landlines, phone. So we are like, oh, we need to kill that, because now everyone's going to work from home. So that's where our tech team quickly build up live support chat feature for our merchants, to be able to resolve things on the chat faster than having to go through the landlines as one of the support functions. So just like tiny example how you kind of have to quickly reshuffle priorities just because you're moving into something completely unknown. But other than that, it was really, I would say it was rather smooth. Obviously, different individuals would go through different adjustment process, but as a organization, as a business, we did not have a lot of restriction because we rather operate online, and it doesn't really matter where you spend your laptop work. Is it at home or in the office? But obviously, then what has changed was the landscape of the services we provide. So majority of our let's call customers, right, are businesses that were directly impacted. So restaurants suddenly shut down, and that's where their revenue is dropping. So then we had to quickly really rethink what we can do for them, because if that's going to be 2 weeks or 4 weeks or it's been 5 months, sort of, how can we provide services to them? So team had to quickly pivot and innovate some solutions for that.
I think I like that, some of the key words you're using: quickly and innovate, and that's definitely some of the key aspects here, right? Being able to adapt. This whole thing caught us by surprise. It's not like
Yeah.
1 year ago we knew this was coming, right? So, did you find it? I'm sure not easy, but at least workable and doable. Being able to pivot so quickly and having the teams adapting.
Hmm. So operating fast has never been an issue at Fave. It's in our DNA. I think that we move things fast, that we break things fast. And one of our guiding principles as well since day one in the organization have been, start small, scale fast, fail faster,
Right.
so that you can scale fast, right? So that has not been a problem. A key, what was super important is keeping everyone aligned and informed and over communicating why we need to do different things at the moment to adjust to that new normal or pandemic situation. So having that DNA of being comfortable operating in super fast speed was very helpful. And then the next thing was super important is to really, really energize teams around like saying we have a problem to solve that no one knows, like how long it's going to be, what's the best solution, what's going to work. And it was fascinating to see the teams actually getting online together to really solve these problems, and somewhere like very hackish ways, like suddenly introducing like a WhatsApp way to order things versus building elaborate bookings platform to address the needs. But I think it's super important to have the team that understands why we do things, what we do, and that helped a lot.
That's a key aspect there. I starting with a why, right? Why we can then discuss, because the why is the emotional aspect of a decision or a leap forward. If that's taken care of, then the how, it's an intellectual process. We can go with road B or road A, but it's doable. But the why is crucial. And in that regard, you mentioned over communicating. So, for example, can you illustrate a bit how is it that you started to over communicate a few things?
Yeah. So maybe I'll take my team as an example. So we were quite tight team working in the office, and we sit at one big open desk. So it was always easy to communicate in the office and brainstorm and share ideas. The moment we moved into work from home, I introduced the daily stand-up, which we didn't have before because we were just, you can kind of shout at each other saying, oh, what about this? How about that? What's the status? It was always accessible. So we kind of needed to build a structure for that. So that worked very well. So number one, it kind of energized the team members from early in the morning as a kind of accountability, saying, okay, I'm going to work, like actually owning the camera and talking through daily priorities and then, what help needed. And also moving into Slack. So personally, my team has not been operating on Slack before. Moving into Slack, having multiple conversations and threads helped to clear out. And it took us like a good 2-3 weeks adjustment to really understand the level of communication needed to avoid misunderstandings, because it was super intense, super fast. And actually first several weeks, everyone worked way more than before. So it was very intense. So communication became key. And I think that's when we realized that written communication is super important as well, working remotely, because especially if somebody is not owning the camera over the call, you even if you communicate, things get lost. And if somebody's connection is not stable, say, oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
those most famous words, most times said words, can you hear me? So yeah, so definitely was adjustment, but yeah, having daily stand-ups, improving written communication recaps were the key
I
to
think,
address.
yeah, that's daily stand-ups are a great idea, and improving written communication with. I've seen a few friends, for example, struggle with WhatsApp, right? Keeping on using WhatsApp for really important business stuff, but then it's really it's the worst. You have a mix of audios and then groups and good mornings and important definitions. It's unbrowsable. I mean, moving into Slack is definitely a great decision, I think.
Definitely.
Daily stand-ups and even sometimes I've seen some other colleagues go even reviewing how they write emails, because before you could afford to send an email and say, hey, here's this, but when tomorrow at the office we'll discuss it, and now you cannot do that anymore. So you need to be better at describing even an email, which is something everybody takes for granted, and all of a sudden you need to review that as well, maybe.
Absolutely. And actually, that's where um, I call it ideas get tested as well. Like if you're not able to summarize your idea in written form, um, then maybe idea is not ready yet to be communicated. Because a lot of times in the meeting, when we brainstorm, we have so many ideas, and then we end up discussing a lot, which is great. And I love brainstorming sessions. But then when you are forced to write down your idea, and that's where you start figuring out while you're writing, you start deleting and write again, delete and write again, and justifying why this is a good idea. It's very helpful process to internalize at first, so that others will understand much clearer than just sitting in a meeting and bouncing ideas. Because a lot of times, what we think in our head, it actually translates quite different when we communicate verbally. But then when you start writing that down, you realize, actually, I need a little bit more time to think through areas. And then when I present that already, on a written document, much easier for everyone to understand and comment. So I do like that part of collaboration with written documentation, which was also not a big practice before for us. But right now we're moving into that way more. And that's definitely helpful and saves time in a way.
Right, I was about to go there because of all of this. With this happened to ourselves. We started reviewing many of the regular meetings we had and trying to making the most of them or eliminating some altogether. And for that, you need to be able to properly collaborate in an asynchronous manner, right? And for that, these writing skills you're mentioning and this internal process you go through when pouring an idea onto, well, paper, but it's not really physical paper, is helpful. But all of that, as you said, can save you so much time, and then that's efficiency right there.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, I love working from home. I'm such a proponent for it. The fact that you have way less distraction, you're more productive in producing your work, and then you have more quiet time in your head to, internalize the ideas and write it down. So, definitely great. But then again, disclaimer: it depends on your home setup environment, definitely, and not everyone has it as quiet as would like to. So that's definitely something, a big topic. I was just talking to my friends over the beers, if I can say that, yeah, over beers over
Of course.
the last few nights, talking about how the needs for different property is arising, because more people thinking to have bigger space, because this work from home is not going to go away very soon. So naturally, instead of working at the kitchen table, you kind of want to have a private setup, your home office. So then the need for big apartments, probably further from the city center, further from the office, will grow, versus having very small convenient place next to the office. So I think that we'll see the shift in demand of different home setup.
That's so interesting. And I mentioned at the beginning of this session that we've been having these kinds of conversations with people from different industries, but I haven't had a chance yet to talk to someone in the real estate industry. What you're mentioning is definitely a game changer as well, right? All of a sudden people saying, yeah, no, I need an additional room, and that's going to be my office.
Yeah, definitely. I'm in the market for that, right? So I live literally like 5 minutes walking from the office, super convenient. But then I could be living, in the way bigger space a bit further, because I don't need to go to the office anymore. Or perhaps I just need to commute once a week, which
Right.
then I don't mind commuting a bit longer. So that, changes perspective of things. And even like this kind of work from home allowed me to really go back home, which is now I'm in Lithuania for the last 1 month and in months to come, allowed me to actually be able to spend more time with the family, which, in the last 11 years, I would be just coming back for holidays. So yeah, every, crisis has an opportunity, and I definitely used it.
Definitely. That's good to know. That's good to know. And I like the attitude, that's for sure. So, coming back to your business and to Fave, you mentioned the challenges faced by your clients. Well, your clients can be, you operate both with the consumers and the merchants, the actual restaurants or spas or those kinds of businesses.
Yeah.
And of course, um, this is a very harsh time and reality for those kinds of businesses, not being able to open for so long. So first of all, before this pandemic started, what were the challenges these kinds of businesses were facing that you were helping them out with?
Sure. So our key value proposition for our merchants, not sure if you can hear the drilling. Actually, I can hear drilling.
Yes, but just a bit, so don't worry.
Working from home, the
Yeah, yeah,
joy.
but that also happens in an office, so it's not
Yeah,
like
that's true. So our key value proposition for merchants is saying how can you improve your business operations by going digital, and that helps to get more customers and more growth of your business, of your revenue. So that didn't really change much, the core value proposition, because ultimately digitizing is the key during pandemic, when people really want to reduce physical touch of cash for payments, or even want to transact online and purchase, browse things online. And we saw how delivery grew insanely during pandemic, because then you can get everything delivered. How food ordering grew, and what we see as well now with us being able to go back to the places, to the restaurants, that the spike of online transactions or digital payments, QR payments, is growing, because that's where you don't really want to use cash. And then using the Fave application, definitely get also savings. And while a lot of people have been impacted due to cut of loss of job or cut of salaries during this period of time, then it's great to have the saving element. So I think that's where super good for consumers as well, to start using. And maybe if never been like a big proponent of QR payments, now it's time to do so, because overall, like nationally, that's national agenda as well. And very happy to be working with Pinjana, with the government program, to really help to digitize businesses and consumers to adopt digital payments. So I'm gonna do a little promotion here. I'm gonna give you a promo code
all
to
right,
use and
please
save.
do.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So it's super awesome, because it's double rewards, and everyone should actually use it. It's
Wow.
e-cashback. All I'm renaming my name now.
All
E-cashback.
right, e-cashback.
Um, yeah. So all anyone who's using Fave app just needs to really like save that and the promo codes, and that will be auto applied on any purchase you make on Fave. On Fave Pay, and that grants you double cashback. So if merchant has 10% cashback, you get additional 10% cashback. So it's great saving, and everyone should definitely do that, because
Perfect.
who
Yeah,
wants
I
who wants to spend more? No one.
no, right, right, right. Yeah, yeah. I'll make sure to use it. So I
Thank
know
you.
that you're mentioning that before the pandemic, you were helping businesses grow, basically, right? By tackling on reaching a wider audience and being able to provide benefits such as cashback, which can be augmented with promo codes such as this one. And And it's interesting because you mentioned that in a sense that didn't change much, other than the fact that it's a matter of public health now, right? Going cashless with Fave rather than using dirty cash. And on the other hand, I guess, and let me know if this is how you're seeing it, that for some businesses it's a matter of we either do this or we are out of business. Like day or night, right? So it's at its core, it keeps on being a means to reaching an audience and growing, but much uh, with a much tangible difference.
Absolutely. And so while the core of the business did not change, but we kind of needed quickly to find better solutions to really address the businesses that were completely closed. Because even then, you can't use your QR payments there. So that's where we kind of went into, we launched a program called Save Our Fave, which is save your favorite places and restaurants or manicure places where you do it by pre-purchasing the e-cards or value stored cards, if you call it. So that helps businesses to get upfront revenue. And for consumer, you have extra savings whenever they open up, so you can go and use that there. So that was also collaboration with Facebook and Instagram to kind of spread that across, the markets to really encourage consumers to chip in earlier to support businesses. So that's one of the ways how you can help businesses who are not really digital yet to start selling online. And it's really key. Like if you're not, online, if you're not accepting cashless payments, you're just gonna miss out, and you're not gonna be resilient enough if, let's say, God forbid, second wave comes, or we need to impose more restrictions again. So that's, it's a no-brainer. Businesses need to go digital. Adopt tools available, and there are so many tools that actually can solve these problems. And merchants have just need to keep the open mind, saying that how can I utilize what's online to help my business, and start thinking forward.
That's great. That's great. If a while you are mentioning all of this, if a business wanted to, go and adopt cashless payments and whatnot with you guys, where would they have to go?
Sure. So merchants can register, express interest at favebiz.com.
All right.
Very simple to register, or just simply send us inquiry or chat with us over there, and the team would pick it up and find the best solution. Because we not only have QR payments, we have e-vouchers as well, and different kind of marketing loyalty solutions for merchants to figure out how to actually increase their sales. And the best time to do it now, because there is additional government budget from Pinjana allocated for businesses to go digital, and Fave is part of the program too. So definitely it's best time to utilize and do it now, while the subsidies are available.
Right, right. Besides, what's something that's we kind of grew used to it, but it's mind-blowing in a sense about this whole pandemic is that we are still in the middle of it. It's not like it's ended and we're talking about, oh, remember when, I mean, there's still no vaccine, there's still lockdown in many countries, there are still restrictions. So of course, as the quicker, well, just as you said, right, that you were very quick to adapt even the product development priorities, and you were able to shift that around, and how that was beneficial to you, which of course, right, the species that survive are those that are have more adaptability. And in that regard, I mean, for a business, as soon as possible, I mean, like right now, to go to favebiz.com and start this journey going digital, the sooner the better, because
Absolutely. Yeah.
otherwise it's not like this is going to be blow over tomorrow and we'll go back to things
There's
they
nothing to
were.
wait for. Like nothing will go back exactly as it was. And I think that's one of the, questions I always have on my mind when I talk to different business leaders, or different people working in different organizations. So what are we waiting for, what are we hoping for? Are we hoping that this will pass and we'll go back to the previous ways of working, or we really need to adopt the what we call new normal, and really persevere and build it as new normal, because it's
Hmm.
not only for this period of time, it's forever
Right,
probably, right?
right,
So
yeah,
then
definitely.
what I see a lot of times, like especially talking like from company communication perspective, company culture, and the way we work, I see a lot of companies adjusting for now only. So therefore, all meetings just simply move to Zoom calls. Nothing else has changed. And
Hmm.
that's the biggest failure long term for the company, because you're going to lose out on a lot of aspects on how to brainstorm better remotely? How do you communicate alignments and changes in the organization? Because you cannot be physically and mentally present. Okay, physically fine, mentally present at 9 hours of calls every single day. So that
Yeah,
has
or
to
a Zoom
really
call
change.
with or a Zoom call with 90 people, right? And you see all
Yeah,
the little faces, and that
exactly.
doesn't
So
hold.
it definitely that's a time for businesses to really rethink and adjust to that new forward, new normal moving forward for longer term, rather than kind of putting patches right now just to fix and hoping it's gonna move back to completely normal. Because at least for us at Fave, I really don't foresee 100% of employees going back to the office, let's say by whatever period of time, like, or whatever date is possible. There will be teams that are capable and will be working remotely or having the flexibility. And for that, I think it's super important how the company sets. It's a culture how things are managed, and I really liked how the CEO of Telenor, the telco from Norway, has put it together. You have to follow this tight, loose, tight framework. So what you need to be tight about is expectation settings and goals and ambitions, what you want to achieve, right? But then what you need to be loose is about how things going to be done. The freedom and empowerment for employees and people to decide and figure out how to achieve those things. And the second tight has to come back with follow up and accountability. So then, and this works not even for remote work. This works, when we're in the office as well. It's just having very clear expectations, giving freedom and autonomy to people, and accountability. So that's how you create that loop of ownership and clarity for everyone. So I mean, we've been practicing this definitely, but I kind of like the concept of tight, loose, tight. Then it's easier to remember as a framework, and it's good to check for every single manager: do I follow that?
Right.
Or do I need to be tighter, or should I loosen up a little bit? Because what I've seen a lot in first several weeks or months of pandemic, that managers start micromanaging quite a bit, because out of sight, out of mind, I don't know what you're working, all these worries, and suddenly becoming super micromanaging and more pressure on employees when it's already so much pressure outside. So I think having that loose part and giving freedom for employees to deliver their work the way they feel it's the best, it's super important.
I agree with that, and that's precisely our methodology, you can call it, here as well. We need to be there. How we actually get there, figure it out. And
Yep.
I won't hold your hand step by step, but let's go there, right? Broadly speaking, yeah, definitely good stuff. So you mentioned. Going back to the merchants and the businesses and the challenges, and also the other portion of your business, which is the consumers. What do you think, as of now and into the future, like maybe forever? What do you think that has changed in consumer behavior, how they approach, how they relate to businesses?
Hmm. So I don't have exact statistics, but there were a lot of first-time online users purchasing or ordering food online during pandemic, and that's globally, because naturally you were in a position where you even couldn't buy certain stuff in a grocery, like toilet paper.
Yeah.
So you had to go online and purchase that. So while perhaps a lot of if we call maybe in rural parts of country, people would be still going physical stores and what's not. This was the time when first time they would need to proceed with the checkout process on the web platform or mobile application, or even trust someone to order through WhatsApp and hope it's going to be delivered. So there are a lot of first times, which I think it's a crisis, and there's opportunity in it. It's a great way for more people to go online and start experiencing online purchasing and delivery and what's or not, which is definitely a huge opportunity for any businesses, that they now can reach to way more customers who are familiar with the process of purchasing online, and also build the trust because in any online business, the trust is one of the key aspects to, do I trust this platform? Do I trust it to key in my, credit card or connect my bank? So that's where I think the trust out of necessity was built for a lot of first-time users. So definitely trend is up to use more technology.
Yeah. I watched a video from you guys celebrating your birthday, and one of the co-founders was saying, "My parents are using Fave," and that's a great milestone, right? Our
Yeah.
parents' generations, they are in their 60s or 70s, maybe 80s, around that, and of course they're used to doing business differently. But now my dad, he's in his 70s. He uses Zoom. He purchases using the Lazada of Latin America. And, just 1 year ago, that was unthinkable. And,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and while that makes for nice anecdotes, what it means is precisely what you said. The market for online, for acquiring the attention of online consumers is growing. Simple as that. So once again, there's a huge opportunity and necessity for businesses to be online and be there
Yeah.
talking to these new audiences. All right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Um, okay, so kind of as a wrap-up concept to discuss, and as mentioned, right, the good thing about these conversations is to have business leaders such as yourself sharing what you have been doing. You mentioned the daily stand-ups, you mentioned over communicating and getting better at writing and communicating ideas via writing, right? And I like the fact, the concept you mentioned is not just moving from our regular meetings to Zoom meetings or Google Meets or whatever, but rather how we communicate in general needs to be changed. So I think it's really interesting to for anybody watching, to learn how a company like Fave is dealing with all of this. So with all of that in mind and with that context, and you have already mentioned a few of these, but what would you say it's a big one of the, or what would you reinstate of one huge opportunity for business leaders that has come out of or is coming out of this crisis?
I think it's a great opportunity for everyone to have a health check of their company culture, of their business culture. Um, because during these times, you either make it or break it. And I've seen a lot of big corporates, which, expectation was that the change would be more resistant and slower, changed very fast and very efficiently, which is super awesome. And that takes leaders to take bold decisions. And in these times, it's super important to make sure that your culture is addressing the needs of your employees, the needs of the business, the needs of your customers. And if you are able to address those needs in this period of time and shape your company culture towards that, that's going to be your best success and takeaway from this. So, it goes to the same example saying like, perhaps it's time to review how your communication strategy within the company or to your external stakeholders is done. How to improve making sure that perhaps when people start coming back to the office, those who choose to work from home are not ignored from the brainstorming sessions, which are already happening in the office. So there's a lot of things, how to rethink and redo things to adapt to this flexible work environment or flexible way of doing things, because the old ways will not cut it. So definitely time to revisit your culture playbook. That's
All
my
right.
key advice to everyone.
Yeah. I love it. I love it, and I loved how clearly you put it. The old ways won't cut it. So yeah, great opportunity. Health check on culture. I think that's great advice, and of course, very much aligned to everything we've been discussing in this session. So yeah, Audra, thank you so much for your time this was very interesting. I love what you guys are doing. Some initiatives I didn't know about, so this was definitely very interesting to learn about that. Can you please remind us what the promo code was for everybody watching so they can use it?
Sure, it's e-cashback.
All right, guys. Remember, with
Yeah.
that you can double
Double your cashback.
your cashback. So
Yep.
make sure you check that out. And for all businesses and merchants out there, do make sure you check Favebiz,
Favebiz.com.
favebiz.com, and also so to embark on that digital journey if you haven't started already. Thank you so much. We'll keep in touch, Audra. Okay.
Thank you for the opportunity, Alejandro.
My pleasure. Thank you. Take care.
All right. Bye.